Hey, what's up guys? This is Benny for Phoenix Dating, and today I want to share with you an analysis of a conversation I had with a cute Latina girl on the streets of Oxford.
But you don't have the accent I was expecting.
Oh,
Yeah.
what accent you were expecting?
Oh, I thought like she just smells Italian, but you're not Italian at all.
There are three really interesting things I want to discuss with you. The first relates to exactly what you should do during the first 10 seconds of an interaction in order to draw the woman into a conversation with you. The second relates to how you create the right type of conversation. In other words, it's a man-to-woman interaction, not a boring chat to nowhere. And the final thing I'm going to discuss is how you can read someone's reactions to you in real time and adapt your behavior accordingly in order to be more socially intelligent. Enjoy, guys.
Excuse me, 2 seconds. I just noticed you. You really caught my attention. I thought you looked quite cute.
So the first thing I say to the girl is, excuse me, 2 seconds. There's a very specific reason for me using that phrase, 2 seconds. It's called a false time constraint. I'm communicating to the girl that I'm not going to take up too much of her time. And this makes it much more likely for her to stop and engage with me. If I had to say, excuse me, this is going to take 5 minutes, that would obviously be a very stupid thing to say. It's better to give a short time frame. It's kind of getting your foot in the door of the conversation. And then, hey, if she enjoyed the conversation, she can stay for longer, right? But you just need to get your foot in the door to begin with.
I just noticed you as I was walking that way and you really caught my attention.
After I've given the false time constraint, I don't immediately go into complimenting the girl. Instead, I give what's called a preamble statement. I say something like, I was just walking to meet my friends and I noticed you and you really caught my attention. The purpose of making this statement is to allow the girl to essentially find her bearings. You have to look at it from the girl's perspective. She's just been stopped by a stranger. Her mind might be racing. Who is this guy? What's he want? Etc, etc. By making this preamble statement with these sort of filler sentences, you're giving her the chance to become present in the conversation and process what's going on. If you give a compliment too early, she might not really be listening, and then the sort of power of the compliment is lost. So these preamble statements can be really useful if you feel the girl just needs a couple more seconds to relax into the interaction.
I thought you looked quite cute. So I had no choice but to, almost as cute as me, I mean. So I had to come and say hello.
After you've given the girl the preamble statement, you can drop a compliment on her. And in this instance, I say something like,
Almost as cute as me, I mean.
I thought you looked cute, almost as cute as me. So you see what I did there? There's a little bit of cockiness in the compliment. I'm not necessarily pedestalizing the girl. I'm not worshipping her. I'm kind of saying, yeah, you look hot, but you know, I'm a pretty cocky guy too, so I'm not looking up to you. That's a pretty useful frame to take with girls. You don't want to give them the sense that you're constantly looking up to them. They won't find that attractive. A bit of cockiness goes a long way. So when you're complimenting girls at the beginning of the conversation, if you can weave in a tease or some sort of cockiness, that will serve you very well.
Yeah. You look very, it was quite funny. You look very focused.
So after I've hit this girl with a compliment, I immediately carry on talking. This is an absolute essential part of picking up a girl, because the risk is if you don't carry on the conversation immediately, the girl will just say, thank you very much, and walk off. What you need to do is you need to jump on the moment and continue talking to engage her in a longer conversation.
Even this morning, you had like the best meditation session.
By the way, guys, if you want to learn how to meet and attract women in real life so you don't have to rely on boring dating apps to get dates, then I have some availability for coaching. For me, learning how to do this has been absolutely transformative and given me a lot of fun experiences. It can probably do the same for you. So if you're interested, my contact details are in the description. Write me an email and we can go from there.
Even this morning, you had like the best meditation session. Or maybe you had like a herbal intake, I don't know.
And then I continue to riff on my observation that the girl looked focused. I make an assumption. I say, oh, you must have had a really intense meditation session this morning. A credit to Eddie Hitchens for that line. So what that's doing is I'm playfully accusing the girl. I'm like saying, what's up? Why are you looking so focused? I'm making these playful accusations and assumptions. As you can see, she reacts really well to that. She's giggling. If when you're teasing a girl giggles in response, that tells you you're doing it right. So remember that. If she's laughing or giggling, you're doing it right. You're building attraction with her.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
But you don't have the accent I was expecting.
Oh,
Yeah.
what accent you were expecting?
Oh, I thought like she just smells Italian. But you're not Italian at all.
Okay, so next I changed the topic of the conversation because she asked me, well, what accent did you think I had? And I said, well, I thought you just smelled so Italian, which is obviously a completely ridiculous statement. I'm just keeping the conversation very light, not boring, and trying to create a bit of attraction in her. And then I find out she's from Venezuela and we have a little bit of a normal chit chat about that. Yep, so that's what's going on there.
No, I'm from Venezuela.
I'm from Venezuela. You're a South American girl.
Yeah.
What brings you to this wonderful country?
I'm studying.
So it sounds like you've fallen in love with the cloudy, rainy country.
Not really, but it's what it is.
So at this point in the conversation, I'm still doing most of the work to keep it going. It's hard to necessarily see in the video. I sense that she was enjoying it on some level. She's giggling, but part of her wanted to leave. Like the way she was sort of closing off the conversation rather than opening it up. The way her feet were edging away slightly. I just got the sense that she wasn't fully engaged for some reason. But just carry on talking. If she wants to leave, she'll let you know. But it's important to also pay attention to these sort of more subtle indications that she's not fully engaged yet.
I did something completely different. I did mathematics.
All right.
I'm like a bit nerdy. Yeah. But I like, when I was a kid, I was always like solving puzzles. And I was like a really naughty kid. But I would always do really well in my maths classes. And they like put me forward for competitions. And I won a couple of prizes and then just kept doing it,
That's really cool, yeah.
Yeah.
If you like numbers, that makes sense, right?
Yeah, but honestly, I never liked it. I was just good at it.
Now, after I've talked a bit about the girl, about where she's from, about what brings her to the UK, about what she's studying, I flipped the conversation topic onto me. Now, honestly, I think this was a bit of a mistake at this point because as I mentioned, I noticed that the girl is not fully engaged yet. So it would have been better to keep the conversation spotlight on her. Nonetheless, I do share a little bit of information about myself. I tell her that I studied mathematics. What I want to draw your attention to, though, is how I package that information about myself. I don't just list facts, I tell a little bit of a story. Remember, stories are much more engaging than facts. They make for a better conversation. So I tell her about the type of kid I was at school. I was actually quite a naughty kid, but there was one subject that I always excelled at, namely mathematics. And in fact, I did so well in mathematics that my school put me forward for special competitions, which I won prizes in, all of which is true, by the way. So you see what I'm doing here? I'm telling her a little bit about some of my accomplishments. And this is something you absolutely should do in your conversations with women as well. Don't hide your accomplishments and even more, the attractive things about your lifestyle. By mentioning the attractive things about your lifestyle, you're giving her reasons to be interested in you, to want to hang out with you, to potentially date you. So don't neglect that stuff. Don't be modest when meeting women. Modesty does not work in man-to-woman relationships. If you've got it, flaunt it. Give her reasons to want to be interested in you, to want to hang out with you, to want to potentially date you.
It's just good at it. Yeah, I like reading books. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Something quite important I'd like you to bear in mind when you're sharing information about yourself, you don't want to make it seem like you're trying to impress her. That's completely the wrong frame. The information that you share should be incidental to the conversation. It should fit in with the topics at hand. The frame of the conversation should in fact be the opposite to that. She should be the one trying to impress you. So don't come across as a bragger or a show-off. That will set the wrong frame, but do drop in your accomplishments because that can definitely increase a woman's attraction for you.
What do you do for fun?
I go around.
You go around.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so vague. You've really painted the picture there.
She doesn't really answer my question of what she likes to do in her spare time. She says something very vague like, I go around. And for this, I mercilessly tease her. If a woman says something that doesn't really make sense or that you can misinterpret, you should absolutely jump on that opportunity and tease her for it. It can be very effective. As you see in the clip, she reacts really well to the tease. She starts laughing.
Yeah, you like wandering around.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see you. I'm actually on a bit of a time crunch. I can see you want to get on as well, but I think you're quite cool. So would you like to stay in contact?
So after that teasing moment, the woman actually makes a gesture with her hand, indicating that she perhaps wants to end the conversation and carry on walking. And I noticed this. And as I mentioned, I've been picking up on the conversation so far that I'm sensing, although she's enjoying it, part of her doesn't want to be there. At this point, I decide it's time to call it out and find out where I stand with her. In other words, does she fancy me? Is there any point in me taking her number, etc., etc.? And I do that in the following way. I say, I'm on a bit of a time crunch. The subtext of that statement is that I'm a busy and important guy and I have somewhere to be. And then I call out the fact that I can see that she too wants to leave for some reason. So I say, I can see you want to get on too, but you seem quite cool. Would you like to stay in touch? So I'm not just letting her off the hook completely. I'm seeing if she wants to potentially continue this man-to-woman conversation over text.
I have my fiance, so
Uh-huh.
I don't want you to think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it would be too crowded, you know. It would be too much.
So now I find out why she wanted to leave the conversation. It turns out she's got a fiance, so she's not available to me. But despite that, it was a really fun conversation for both of us. She was laughing throughout. You notice that she actually thanks me for approaching her. But even though I didn't get anywhere with the conversation, I don't end up dating this girl or taking her number, it was still a win-win. I end the conversation in a really good mood. She leaves in a really good mood as well. So a rejection is certainly not necessarily a failure. Also, a rejection is not necessarily any reflection on your attractiveness as a man. Many women are simply not available. So don't take these rejections to heart. It's just part of the game.
Thank you.
I know.
I really appreciate,
Hey, it's good to
great,
vibe.
to say something. That's quite cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, have a wonderful day. Oh, yes. That's what it's about, bro. Let's talk to the camera. No, I'll talk. No, you want to film me because this is me addressing my channel. Just I'll walk backwards and just tell me if I'm walking into someone. Okay. All right, cool. So do it, but you can film normally. You can there we go. And we'll keep walking. We're going to keep walking, bro. No, this...
Just stand still.
No, it's fine. I'm going to keep going, bro. All right, hey, boys. This is Ben from Phoenix Dating.
Snake dog.
This is Snake Dog from Phoenix Dating. So as you saw just now, I was just talking to a Venezuelan girl. It was like a win-win conversation. It was a good vibe. And now on to the next one. Let's do this, baby.